Today I'm going to be looking at this. This is the Ryzen 3 2200G. Now I've run into a major hurdle. We should get something going to post at this point, and absolutely nothing. Now that's all very dramatic, I'm sure you'll agree, but it's not the end of the world. Now I'm happy to say it's up and running. In fact, I've just finished the complete build and I'm currently running some benchmarks on it right now, which is going to be in the finished build video, which is going to be coming very soon. But what I'm going to do today is take you through some of the options on how to overcome this issue. Now the problem itself lies with the BIOS. Now if you don't know what the BIOS is, this is basically the software that links together all the bits of hardware in your PC and gets them talking to each other when you first switch on and boot the PC up. Now the issue in this particular case is that the BIOS on the motherboard is out of date. Now it doesn't recognise these brand new Ryzen APUs, which has a slightly different architecture to the previous Ryzen processors, so it won't do anything with it. Even if you add a separate graphics card, it still won't boot. In order to get it working, I had to update the BIOS to a version which is going to recognise the APUs and boot up accordingly. Unfortunately, most motherboards need some kind of processor in them that it does recognise. Some motherboards do have an option to update the BIOS without a processor installed, but these are usually very high priced motherboards such as the Asus X370 Crosshair 6. So what can you do if your board hasn't got this feature? Well, here are some options. Well, the first one has to be the most obvious, and if you've not purchased yet and you're going to be buying from a physical store, make sure the motherboard box has this sticker on it. Or alternatively, wait for the 400 series chipsets like the X470 or B450 boards, which are going to be coming later this spring. If you're buying online, you could get in contact with the vendor first, see if they've got a way to ensure you get a compatible board straight away. Now the second option is you could try and send the motherboard back to the retailer. Now this would depend on their return policy, of course. In any case, if you do manage to successfully return it, there are no guarantees that a replacement is going to have the correct BIOS on it anyway. Now you may also be charged a restocking fee if the company deem that the motherboard to be in full working order. You could also have to pay postage costs. Alternatively, you could contact the board manufacturer to see if they will help, although from experience the warranty for motherboards in the UK usually lies with the seller, not the manufacturer. Now if you're not confident in doing it yourself, you could take the board down to your local PC store and ask them to update the BIOS for you. There will probably be a charge for this. I've had some comments in my previous video of users being charged either $20 or $30 by their local micro centre to do this, although a couple of people have said that their local PC store were happy to do it for free. So I guess it just depends how lucky you get with that. And of course the final way is to do it yourself and use a compatible Bristol Ridge APU or something similar to be able to boot up the system and update the BIOS. Now you won't need the separate graphics card for this, as the Bristol Ridge processors also have integrated graphics. Now the cheapest way to do this is to contact AMD direct via a link that I'll provide in the description below and raise a warranty claim for a boot kit. Now they'll need some proof of purchase, and they did ask me to provide proof that the motherboard manufacturer wouldn't actually help. But as long as you can provide these, then they will loan you one of these processors. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with AMD myself. I managed to get hold of an A69500 APU from a friend. Now, if you were to buy one of these, it'll probably set you back about £42, I think, which you could potentially then sell on afterwards, making this a relatively small cost. Best idea, I think, if you've got the time to wait, is to go through the process with AMD. Now, I'm going to add a disclaimer here. flashing the BIOS can be potentially risky. Proceed with caution as you may damage the motherboard if it goes wrong. Proceed at your own risk. So here's how I updated my BIOS. Now the board I have is the Gigabyte AB350N gaming Wi-Fi, although this should be very similar for other boards too. Now there's actually two ways to do this. First of all is through Windows. I could have used the A6 processor to install Windows first and download the @BIOS app from Gigabyte. Now this runs in Windows and downloads and updates to the latest BIOS from there. Alternatively, the method that I used is to update directly inside the BIOS using Gigabyte's QFlash software, which is built into the board. First, I prepare a USB stick with the compatible BIOS. Here you can see I needed at least BIOS version F10, but I went all the way up to F22B as I wanted to go with the latest version. It should also be the most stable. So I downloaded it from the website and extracted the zip file onto the empty USB stick. Then, with the compatible processor now installed in the motherboard, switched it on and kept my fingers, toes and everything else crossed. So once in the BIOS, all I had to do was put the USB stick into the USB port, go to the QFlash section of the BIOS. As you can see here, the existing BIOS was F5, which then recognised the file on the stick. So all I need to do is choose the file that I want to update to, press enter, and then click to start. So it's now updated and you can see it's F22B. Okay, so now I've put the Ryzen 3 back in there, the 2200G. I'm now going to switch it on after we've done the BIOS update and check if it works. And we have life. And here we are now in the BIOS and it's sorted. So thanks very much for watching. I'll leave a link to all the products used in this video in the description below. Please don't forget to use our Amazon and Overclockers links. It really does help to keep the channel going. Don't forget to give this video a like if you liked it. There's a lot more to come on the channel, including more PC builds and reviews. The best way to make sure you don't miss any of those is to hit that subscribe button below. Doesn't cost anything. So thanks for watching and I will see you later.